Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the breakdown episode 3. Today I'm going to be going in depth on Pvlace melodies, and as the title suggests, kind of breaking down the idea behind his style with the way that I understand it. I'm going to be going in and showing a sample that I just dropped recently in a free sample pack that has 12 dark and ambient samples similar to this one. I'll go ahead and leave a link down in the description for that pack if you're interested. I'm pretty sure almost everybody should know who Pvlace is at this point, but if you somehow don't, he's known for his relationship with Southside and being signed to 808 Mafia. His samples are generally really ambient, and in the past he was known for his use of a lot of ethnic style instruments in his samples like kodos, harps, flutes, but I've noticed that his style has kind of shifted recently and there's enough videos on ethnic samples, so I'm going to be breaking down his newer style from what I've seen. In my opinion, Pvlace always has really good sound selection and his samples are really good at being simple but still unique and just sounding really clean and making sure that all the instruments have a purpose in the sample and they're not just there for no reason. So the sample I'm going to be breaking down today definitely has a lot of inspiration from a song from Key Glock called Painkillers that just dropped like a few weeks ago. It has a sample from Pvlace in it that sounds really similar to the one that I'm going to be breaking down, so that's kind of the style that I'm going to be going in depth with and kind of explaining. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get right into it. Alright, so as you can see, we're at 148 BPM, and for Pvlace melodies you can really be anywhere from like 120 to like 150-ish BPM. So the final sample is in E minor, but everything that I'm going to be making is in F sharp minor. At the very end you can see I pitched it down 2 semitones, so I went from F sharp to E. But I'm going to go ahead and play the final sample so you can hear how it sounds, and then go ahead and just break down everything that I did to make it. The first sound I have for this sample is a bell from this contact bank called Cycles. Yeah, right here, Cycles. And I don't remember where I found this bank, but it has a lot of loops, phrases that you can mess around with. It has like a string section, bells, like random pads and stuff like that. So you can mess around with the pitch down here, and then you can play different samples right here. But yeah, like I said, I just have this one note right here. So I just had it playing, I rendered it out as an audio file, and then as you can see, I pitched it up 7 semitones. So this is what that sounds like. And then what I did for this part right here, since I had this pitched up 7 semitones, a common thing with a lot of Pvlace melodies or just melodies in general is that you'll take the root note at the end and you'll pitch it down either 4 or 5 semitones. So what I did is I took this original bell right here and I took the second part and I just pitched it down 4 semitones from where it was at. So this one is pitched up 7, and then as you can see, this one's only pitched up 3, and then at the very end it goes down another semitone. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I think I added some effects. As you can see, I have halftime at 50%. I have some wow control to add some wow and flutter. Then I added some reverb. Then I added a mid-side EQ to make it sound more wide. EQ to take out a lot of the high mids. Maximus just to make it louder. So once I had that, I just rendered that out as an audio file. And then again, I pitched it up 3 semitones. So I pitched the whole thing up 3 semitones, and then I reversed it and added some more effects to it. So it sounds like this. And for the effects, I just added a portal preset, this flutter preset from a portal bank from Chase Vibes. Shout out Chase Vibes. Then I also added this weird EQ to take out a lot of the high mids and some weird frequencies that were in the mids, and then boost the high end. So I kind of have that bell in the background that I just showed that's kind of like a pad. So I wanted a sound that would be more of like a key or like a pluck and be towards the low end. So I found this pluck from, I think it's Cymatic's one shot kit. Yeah, and it's just a pretty generic pluck, and I came up with this pattern right here. So we're in F sharp minor, and this chord progression is pretty simple. A lot of times with Pvlace melodies, I'll notice that he doesn't even do triad chords. He'll just do 2 notes, and then they kind of like arpeggiate with different chords. And then I just copied that over, but I changed the notes. So instead of F sharp and C sharp, it's F sharp and D. And then kind of the same idea where it arpeggiates down this time though, and then another filler note at the top. And then just copied that over, same exact thing for this one. And then for this, I changed it because at the end, like I said, the root note goes down 5 semitones. So I just pitched it down 5 semitones and then changed this last note right here. And so this is what that sounds like. That's something I notice a lot with Pvlace melodies, is he'll leave a lot of space, and I think that's why his samples sound really clean. For the effects, I added a halftime, just at 25%. Valhalla Room, just to add some reverb and delay. Valhalla Ubermod, this Uzi synced preset, and then an EQ to take out a lot of the lows and a lot of the highs. You can see I have it EQ'd so that it leaves room for the pad. Like I said, every sound has a purpose, so the bell was kind of taking up the high end, the sound kind of takes up the mids and the low mids. So once I had those 2 sounds, that was like the bass layer of the melody. That was like the main thing. And then I just added this counter melody, and the MIDI looks like this. It's just a few notes going up and down, and then I literally just copy and pasted that over 4 times. For the effects, I just have a halftime at 25%, an EQ to take out the very high end and the low mids, and then a lot of reverb to kind of put the sound in the background. And what that did, once I had the pluck down and then the counter melodies, it kind of created that call and response. Common thing with music is that you have one sound play and then you'll have another sound play like as a response to that sound, and it usually just sounds really like satisfying to the ear. The next thing that I added is just a brass one shot. As you can see, it's just a few notes, and this was kind of just to add like different accents in the background of the sample. For the effects, I just have a delay on it and reverb. So the next thing that I did is I added this accent at the beginning of every 4 bars, and this is what that sounds like. And then like I said, it just repeats every 4 bars. For the effects on that, I added a lot of reverb and EQ to take out some of the highs, some of the low mids, and then a shaper box, pan it back and forth. And that's just an accent to have like way in the background, again, just to make the sample sound like more unique and, you know, add sounds that you might not even hear. And then the last thing that I did is I added this bass right here. I think this is just a one shot as well, from a one shot kit from 2. Yeah, really simple. Just literally follows the root note of the sample. And then just to kind of like polish off the sample, make it sound even more unique, I added texture again from the 2 one-shot kit. I think it's the Ruby one-shot kit. Yeah, this one right here. I went ahead and added this air texture. It's just a really simple kind of like vinyl texture. Yeah, nothing crazy, just way in the background. So once I had all that, I just rendered it out as an audio file, and then I brought it down 2 semitones. So we went from F sharp minor to E minor. And whenever I render out a sample, I never render out the bass, because when you're messing around with the pitch and you have the bass in the sample, it just sounds really weird. So I just render out everything else, bring it back in, and then make sure to go back and change the bass along with it. And also, as you can see, I have it arranged, and then I have the second part right here where it's just copied over. It's the same exact thing as here, just copied over, but I remove the bass. And then at the end, I have all the stems so that whoever uses the sample, they can either use the stems or they can use the parts, kind of like how I arranged it. Anyway, I rendered it out, brought it in, put it to his own mixer track. I added some fresh air to kind of boost some of the high end, added this mid-side EQ, make the sample sound a lot wider, a compressor to compress it, Soothe 2 to take out some of the unwanted frequencies in the low mids, and then an EQ to take out the low end. And yeah, that was pretty much it for the sample. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you took something away. Make sure you focus a lot on sound selection. Make sure all the sounds have their own purpose and their own space to breathe in the sample. Yeah, like I said, I'll go ahead and leave a link down in the description for the sample pack that has 12 samples similar to this style. If you're interested in that, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.